In a quaint town, nestled between rolling hills, there lived an elderly man named Harold. At 75, he had a presence that radiated warmth and vitality, defying the stereotypes often associated with aging. Harold was not one to fade into the background. Rather, he embraced life with an unquenchable spirit. His days were a tapestry woven with the threads of passion, purpose, and connection. Each morning, as the sun began to cast its golden light over the neighborhood, Harold laced up his well-worn sneakers and set out for his daily walk. The rhythmic sound of his footsteps echoed on the pavement, a steady beat that matched the pulse of the world awakening around him. He walked not just for exercise, but as a ritual of gratitude. With each step, he marveled at the beauty of the blooming flowers, the vibrant colors of the sky, and the laughter of children playing in the park. The simple act of walking became a celebration of life itself, reminding him that every moment was a gift. On weekends, Harold would swap his walking shoes for a bicycle. The wind tousled his silver hair as he cycled along the winding paths that meandered through the countryside. He felt a rush of freedom, the kind that made him feel young again. The hills became his playground, and the thrill of the ride filled him with joy. He often joined a group of fellow enthusiasts, men and women of all ages, who shared his love for cycling. Together, they explored new trails, exchanged stories, and forged friendships that transcended generations. Harold understood that staying active was not merely about physical health. It was about fostering connections and creating memories. But Harold was not just an athlete. He was also an avid learner. His thirst for knowledge was insatiable. Each afternoon, he would settle into his favorite armchair, a cup of herbal tea in hand, and immerse himself in a good book. The pages of history, science, and fiction opened new worlds for him, igniting his imagination and expanding his horizons. He also embraced technology, often surprising his grandchildren with his newfound skills. Whether it was learning to navigate social media or mastering video calls, he approached each challenge with enthusiasm. He believed that learning was a lifelong journey, one that kept his mind sharp and his spirit young. Harold's garden was another passion that flourished in his life. Tucked away behind his modest home, it was a sanctuary filled with vibrant flowers, fragrant herbs, and vegetables that he lovingly tended to. Gardening was more than a hobby. It was a form of meditation. He found solace in the rhythm of planting, pruning, and harvesting. Each seed he sowed was a testament to hope, a reminder that life continues to bloom even in the twilight years. As he nurtured his garden, he also nurtured his family. He often invited his children and grandchildren to help him, teaching them the importance of patience, care, and the joy of watching something grow. The garden became a gathering place, a backdrop for laughter, and the stories shared over home-cooked meals made from the fruits of their labor. Sharing stories was another cornerstone of Harold's life. He had a treasure trove of experience, each one a lesson wrapped in laughter or a poignant memory. Every Sunday, his family would gather around the dining table, and Harold would recount tales from his youth, adventures that spanned continents, encounters that shaped his character, and moments that defined his values. His grandchildren would listen wide-eyed, their imaginations ignited by the vivid imagery he painted with his words. Harold understood that storytelling was not just about entertainment. It was a way to pass down wisdom and instill a sense of belonging in the younger generation. He wanted them to know their roots, to understand that life was a tapestry of interconnected stories. In the quiet moments of solitude, Harold found clarity. He cherished the stillness that enveloped him, allowing him to reflect on his life, his choices, and the lessons he had learned. Each evening, he would sit on his porch, watching the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. It was in these moments that he felt most alive, connected to the universe and at peace with himself. He practiced mindfulness, savoring the taste of his tea, the sound of rustling leaves, and the gentle caress of the evening breeze. Harold understood that taking time for oneself was not selfish, but essential for nurturing the soul. Living for himself meant embracing good habits that enriched his life. He maintained a balanced diet, filled with the produce from his garden, and made a point to stay hydrated. He practiced yoga and meditation, finding strength in both his body and mind. Harold believed that aging was not a decline, but a transition, and he was determined to navigate it with grace and vigor. He often reminded his friends that it was never too late to start anew, to chase dreams, or to rekindle old passions. As the years passed, Harold became a beacon of inspiration in his community. People admired his zest for life, his unwavering commitment to health, and his ability to forge connections across generations. He organized community events, inviting neighbors to join him for walks, bike rides, or gardening days. He became a mentor to younger men, encouraging them to embrace their passions and live fully, regardless of age. Harold's life was a testament to the idea that aging does not mean fading away. It is a time of blossoming, of understanding the richness and depth that life offers. In the twilight of his years, Harold continued to embody vitality and joy. His laughter echoed through the halls of his home. His heart remained open to new experiences, and his spirit was a vibrant tapestry of love, learning, and connection. He had become a living example that life, no matter the age, is a journey worth celebrating. A beautiful adventure filled with endless possibilities. In a small, sun-drenched town where the air was always fragrant with blooming jasmine, lived Harold and Margaret, a couple who had spent more than 5 decades intertwined in a tapestry of love and shared experiences. Their home, filled with the echoes of laughter and the warmth of countless memories, had become a sanctuary of their journey together. As they approached their twilight years, they often reflected on how their love had transformed, deepened, and blossomed into something uniquely beautiful. Harold often mused about how love changes with age. In their youth, passion had been a fiery flame, an intense force that ignited their hearts. They had danced under the stars, whispered sweet nothings, and reveled in the thrill of new beginnings. But time had gently shifted that fervor into a quieter, steadier love, a love that was no less profound. He would catch himself watching Margaret as she tended to her beloved garden, her fingers delicately coaxing life from the soil. It was in these moments, filled with tranquility, that he realized the beauty of their enduring bond. It was a love that had matured, rooted in understanding and companionship, rather than the fleeting excitement of youth. He cherished this evolution, appreciating how they had grown together, navigating the complexities of life hand in hand. As the years passed, they both recognized the importance of taking care of each other's health. The vibrant adventures of their earlier days had given way to a more cautious approach to life. Harold had taken it upon himself to prepare healthy meals, often experimenting with new recipes that incorporated fresh vegetables from Margaret's garden. He was determined to ensure that she remained strong and vibrant, just as she had always cared for him. Margaret, in turn, had become his advocate, reminding him to take his medications and encouraging him to join her for evening walks. They understood that growing old together meant not just sharing the joys of life, but also protecting one another's well-being. It was a mutual commitment, a promise to nurture each other through the inevitable challenges that aging brought. Physical closeness became a language of its own, spoken fluently through small gestures. They had long since abandoned the grand displays of affection, opting instead for the simple, everyday acts that spoke volumes. Harold would often find Margaret nestled in her favorite armchair, a book in her lap, and he would quietly slip into the seat beside her, reaching for her hand. The moment their fingers intertwined felt like a warm embrace, a reminder of the connection they cherished. A shared hug before bed became a nightly ritual, a comforting cocoon that enveloped them in love. These small gestures, seemingly insignificant, were the threads that wove their hearts together, binding them in a tapestry of intimacy that only deepened with time. Communication, too, had evolved. They no longer engaged in long discussions about their dreams or aspirations. Instead, they found joy in the little exchanges that punctuated their days. A simple, "How was your day, dear?" or a shared chuckle over a memory from their past became the highlights of their conversations. They would sit on the porch, sipping tea, watching the world go by, and in those moments, words were often unnecessary. A glance, a smile, or a gentle squeeze of the hand conveyed everything they felt. They had learned that love didn't always need grand declarations. Sometimes it thrived in the quiet understanding that grew between them. As they reflected on their life together, Harold and Margaret found immense joy in honoring their shared memories while also creating new ones. They would often reminisce about their first date, the laughter that filled their home when their children were young, and the adventures they had embarked on together. Trips to the mountains, evenings spent dancing in the living room, and quiet weekends spent reading side by side, and each memory was a cherished jewel in the treasure chest of their lives. Yet they also understood the importance of making new memories. They began to explore new hobbies together, taking a painting class that brought out their creativity and laughter. They would spend afternoons at the local art studio, their canvases splashed with colors that reflected their personalities, their laughter mingling with the sounds of other artists. These new experiences rekindled the spark of joy within them, reminding them that life was still full of possibilities, even as the years advanced. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue across their backyard, Harold surprised Margaret with a picnic. He had carefully prepared her favorite foods and laid out a blanket beneath the old oak tree that had witnessed their love blossom over the years. As they sat together, surrounded by the beauty of nature, they shared stories, laughter, and dreams for the future. In that moment, they both felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the life they had built together. It was a reminder that love, when nurtured with care, could continue to flourish even in the autumn of their lives. Harold looked into Margaret's eyes, seeing the same spark that had drawn him to her all those years ago. He realized that while their love had changed, it had also deepened, becoming a profound connection that transcended time. They had learned to embrace the beauty of the present, cherishing the quiet moments that filled their days with joy. In their hearts, they knew that love was not just a feeling, but a commitment, a promise to nurture, honor, and cherish one another through every season of life. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Harold and Margaret sat hand in hand, their hearts intertwined in a dance of love that would continue to grow, nourished by the very elements that had brought them together in the first place. They understood that their journey was far from over. It was a beautiful continuation, a testament to the enduring power of love that had weathered the storms of life and emerged stronger, more vibrant, and infinitely more precious. In a quaint little town, nestled between rolling hills and whispering streams, there lived a woman named Margaret. At 75, she had grown accustomed to the rhythm of her days, filled with the gentle hum of her garden and the soft rustle of pages turning as she lost herself in novels. The world had changed around her, but she had found comfort in her routines, her memories, and the quiet solitude of her little home. Yet beneath the layers of her ordinary life, there lingered a yearning for companionship, a flicker of hope that perhaps love could still find her, even in the twilight of her years. Margaret had once known love, a deep and abiding love that had filled her heart to the brim. She had married Henry in the summer of 1965, and for nearly 4 decades, they had shared laughter, dreams, and the kind of intimacy that only time can forge. They had traveled to distant lands, danced under the stars, and raised 2 beautiful children who had since flown the nest to build lives of their own. But life, as it often does, had woven a different tale. Henry had passed away 5 years prior, leaving a void in Margaret's heart that seemed insurmountable. The days without him were long, and the nights stretched endlessly, filled with echoes of their shared laughter and the warmth of his embrace. One crisp autumn morning, as the leaves turned to shades of gold and crimson, Margaret decided to take a stroll through the town's park. She had always found solace in nature, and today felt like a day for a gentle walk to clear her mind. As she ambled along the winding paths, she noticed the laughter of children playing and couples strolling hand in hand. A pang of nostalgia washed over her, but she pressed on, determined to embrace the beauty around her. As she approached a small bench overlooking a serene pond, she spotted a figure sitting alone. It was a man, his silver hair glinting in the sunlight, his face lined with the marks of time. There was something familiar about him, a warmth that drew her in. She hesitated for a moment, then decided to take a seat beside him. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" she said, her voice soft yet steady. The man turned to her, his blue eyes sparkling with recognition. "Indeed it is. I'm Thomas," he replied, a smile breaking across his face. "And you must be Margaret. I've heard so much about you." Margaret's heart skipped a beat. Thomas had been a good friend of Henry's, a fellow veteran who had shared stories and laughter over many a barbecue. They hadn't seen each other since the funeral, and the years had slipped by like grains of sand. "It's been quite a while," she said, her voice tinged with nostalgia. "Yes, it has. Life has a way of pulling us in different directions," he replied, his gaze drifting to the pond. They shared stories of the past, reminiscing about the days when they had gathered with friends, shared meals, and celebrated life's milestones. The conversation flowed easily, as if no time had passed at all. Thomas spoke of his late wife, a vibrant woman who had filled his life with joy and laughter until her own passing 2 years prior. He spoke of his children who lived far away, and the loneliness that had settled into his heart since her departure. Margaret listened, her heart aching for him, recognizing the shared pain of loss that bound them together. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over the park, she found herself laughing at Thomas's witty anecdotes, the sound of their laughter mingling with the rustling leaves. Days turned into weeks, and Margaret and Thomas began to meet regularly at the park. They would sit on that same bench, sharing stories, dreams, and the quiet moments that seemed to stretch into eternity. They discovered a shared love for gardening, books, and the simple pleasures of life. Margaret found herself looking forward to their meetings, her heart warming with each shared smile, each gentle touch of their hands as they laughed or offered comfort. One afternoon, as they sat together, Thomas turned to her with a seriousness that made her heart race. "Margaret, I've been thinking," he began, his voice soft yet earnest. "I've spent so much time alone since losing my wife, and while I cherish the memories, I find myself longing for companionship again. You've brought light back into my life, and I wonder if you might feel the same." Margaret's heart fluttered at his words. She had felt the same pull, the same desire for connection that had been absent for so long. "I do, Thomas," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've missed having someone to share my days with. I never thought I would feel this way again." Thomas reached for her hand, their fingers intertwining, as if they had been made to fit together. "Then, let's explore this together," he said, his eyes searching hers for understanding. "Let's not let our age define us. Let's create new memories, find joy in each other's company, and see where this journey takes us." And so began a new chapter in their lives, one filled with laughter, shared meals, and the tender moments that had once seemed lost. They celebrated small victories, like the first bloom of spring flowers in Margaret's garden, or the successful attempt at baking a pie that didn't collapse. They traveled to nearby towns, exploring quaint shops and savoring the flavors of new cuisines. With each passing day, their bond deepened, transcending the boundaries of friendship and blossoming into a love that felt both exhilarating and comforting. As they walked hand in hand through the park, Margaret marveled at how love had transformed. It was no longer the passionate whirlwind of her youth, but a gentle, steady flame that warmed her heart. They spoke of their hopes and dreams, their fears and regrets, and in those conversations, they found healing. They discovered the beauty of vulnerability, the strength that came from sharing their lives once more. Months passed, and autumn gave way to winter. The first snowflakes of the season fell softly, blanketing the town in a serene hush. Margaret and Thomas decided to host a small gathering, inviting their children and a few close friends to celebrate the holidays. As they decorated the tree together, laughter filled the air, and the warmth of their companionship enveloped the room. On Christmas Eve, surrounded by the glow of twinkling lights and the scent of pine, Thomas took Margaret's hands in his. "I never thought I would find love again," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "But here we are, creating a beautiful life together. You've shown me that love doesn't fade. It simply changes shape." Margaret's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "You filled a void I thought would remain forever. I'm grateful for every moment we share, for the laughter and the quiet times, for the way you see me." As the clock struck midnight, they exchanged soft kisses, sealing their newfound love with promises of many more memories to come. They danced slowly to a song that played softly in the background. Surrounded by the warmth of family and friends, their hearts intertwined in a way that felt both new and familiar. In the months that followed, Margaret and Thomas continued to grow together, embracing all that life had to offer. They learned to navigate the challenges of aging side by side, finding joy in the small moments, the morning sun filtering through the curtains, the sound of rain tapping against the window, the shared cups of tea that lingered into the evening. Their love had become a tapestry woven from the threads of their past and the bright colors of their present, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. As spring bloomed once more, Margaret found herself tending to her garden with renewed vigor. She planted flowers that reminded her of Henry, but she also added new blooms that symbolized her journey with Thomas. Each flower became a reminder of the love that had blossomed in unexpected ways, a celebration of the connections that had formed in the twilight of their lives. One sunny afternoon, as they sat together in the garden, Thomas turned to her with a smile. "You know, I think we're just getting started," he said, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "There's a whole world out there waiting for us." Margaret laughed, her heart swelling with joy. "I believe you're right. Let's make the most of every day." And so they did. Together, they embraced life with open hearts, proving that love knows no age and that the connections we forge can light the way, no matter how late in life they may come. In each other, they found not only companionship, but a profound understanding of the beauty that lies in shared experiences, the wisdom that comes with age, and the enduring power of love that, like the seasons, continues to evolve and flourish. The summer sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm, golden hue over the sprawling fields of my childhood home. I remember it vividly. The air was thick with the sweet scent of honeysuckle, and the gentle hum of bees filled the air, harmonizing with the distant laughter of children playing. It was one of those perfect days when time seemed to stretch and the world felt like a boundless playground. I was 9 years old, a small figure with tangled hair and dirt-streaked knees, lost in the wonder of a summer adventure. That day, my cousins and I had decided to explore the woods behind my grandmother's house. The forest was a realm of mystery to us, filled with towering trees that whispered secrets in the wind and underbrush that concealed treasures waiting to be discovered. We set off with makeshift walking sticks, our imaginations igniting with every step. The crunch of twigs underfoot and the rustle of leaves overhead created a symphony of sounds that echoed our excitement. As we ventured deeper into the woods, the sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating a dappled pattern on the forest floor. I can still feel the coolness of the shaded areas, a welcome relief from the heat of the day. The laughter of my cousins rang out, a joyful melody that mingled with the chirping of birds and the occasional rustle of a squirrel darting up a tree. We were explorers, adventurers, on a quest for hidden treasures, and the world was ours to conquer. It was in a small clearing surrounded by ancient oaks that we stumbled upon our greatest discovery, a fallen tree that lay like a bridge across a small, trickling stream. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and the sight of it sent ripples of excitement through us. We approached cautiously, our hearts racing at the thought of crossing it. The tree was wide enough to walk on, but the thought of slipping and falling into the cool water below sent a thrill of fear through me. "Let's cross it!" my oldest cousin shouted, his eyes gleaming with mischief. The others cheered in agreement, and I felt a rush of adrenaline. I was hesitant, my heart pounding in my chest, but the desire to join them overcame my fear. One by one, we stepped onto the tree, our laughter echoing in the stillness of the woods. I can still hear the sound of our feet shuffling against the rough bark, the way we held our breath as we balanced on the precarious path. When it was my turn to cross, I felt a mix of excitement and dread. I took a deep breath, focused on the other side, and began to walk. The tree swayed slightly beneath my weight, and for a moment, I felt as if I were flying, suspended between the earth and the water. My heart raced, and I could hear the rush of the stream below, a reminder of the consequence of misstep. But then, as I reached the halfway point, I glanced down and lost my balance. I stumbled, arms flailing, and before I knew it, I was tumbling into the stream, the cold water enveloping me like a shockwave. The laughter of my cousins turned to gasps, and for a split second, I was submerged in the cool clarity of the water, the world above me fading into a blur. When I surfaced, spluttering and gasping for breath, I was met with a chorus of laughter. They hadn't meant to laugh at me, it was the sheer joy of the moment, the spontaneity of childhood that had taken over. I couldn't help but join in, my embarrassment washed away by the refreshing water and the warmth of their camaraderie. As I climbed out of the stream, soaked to the bone, I felt a sense of liberation. The water dripped from my clothes, but I was alive with laughter and joy. My cousins helped me up, their faces glowing with delight. We spent the rest of the afternoon splashing in the stream, the water a balm for the heat of the day. The sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the horizon with hues of orange and pink, and the air was filled with the sounds of our joy. That day in the woods taught me more than just the thrill of adventure. It instilled in me a sense of courage and the importance of embracing the unexpected. I learned that falling was a part of life, but it was how we responded to those falls that truly mattered. I remember the feeling of the water, cool and invigorating, a reminder that sometimes letting go and embracing the moment could lead to unexpected joy. As the years passed, that memory lingered in my mind like a cherished photograph, a snapshot of innocence and freedom. It became a touchstone for me, a reminder of the child I once was, and the lessons I learned in that sun-drenched clearing. Life has a way of weaving itself into a tapestry of experiences, and those summer adventures shaped my identity in ways I couldn't fully understand until much later. Now, as I sit in my garden, the sun casting its warm glow once again, I reflect on that day. I've grown older, my body has changed, and the world has shifted around me. But the essence of that moment remains. The laughter of my cousins still echoes in my heart, a reminder of the bonds we forged in those carefree days. I often wonder if they remember that summer adventure as vividly as I do, if they carry the same lessons in their hearts. The garden is a sanctuary of sorts, filled with the vibrant colors of blooming flowers and the sweet scent of freshly cut grass. Birds chirp in the trees, and the gentle rustle of leaves brings me back to that childhood memory. I find myself smiling, recalling the feeling of water splashing against my skin, the warmth of the sun on my face, and the joy of being surrounded by family. Those moments of connection, of laughter, shared and adventures embarked upon, have shaped my understanding of love and belonging. As I grow older, I realize that the lessons learned in that clearing have influenced my approach to life. I've faced challenges, experienced losses, and encountered moments of uncertainty. But the courage to embrace the unexpected has guided me. I've learned to find joy in the small things, to celebrate the moments that make life beautiful, just as I did that summer day. The world may be unpredictable, but like that fallen tree, it offers opportunities to cross into new territories, to explore the unknown. The sound of children's laughter drifts through the air, pulling me from my reverie. I glance up to see my grandchildren playing in the garden, their imaginations as wild and free as ours once were. They chase each other, their laughter ringing out like music, and I feel a swell of joy in my heart. I watch as they create their own adventures, their own memories, and I hope they carry the same spirit of exploration that we once had. I gather them around me, eager to share the story of that summer day in the woods. As I recount the tale, their eyes widen with wonder, and I see the spark of adventure ignite within them. I want them to know that life is full of surprises, that it's okay to stumble and fall as long as they rise again with laughter in their hearts. I want them to embrace the world with open arms, to seek out the beauty in every moment, just as I did so many years ago. The sun begins to set, casting a warm glow over the garden, and I feel a deep sense of gratitude for the memories that have shaped me. That day in the woods was not just a fleeting moment, it was a lesson in courage, joy, and the importance of family. As I look at my grandchildren, I see the continuation of that legacy, the thread of our shared experiences weaving through generations. In the quiet moments of reflection, I understand that those childhood memories will forever be a part of me, guiding my heart and shaping my identity. The laughter, the lessons, and the joy of that summer adventure have lingered into old age, reminding me to embrace life with the same enthusiasm that once filled my young heart. And as I watch my grandchildren play, I know that the spirit of that day will continue to live on, a testament to the beauty of childhood and the bonds of family that withstand the test of time.
At 70, I picked up a paintbrush for the very first time. The bristles felt unfamiliar in my hand, trembling with the same uncertainty I felt in my heart. My grandchildren had gifted me a small watercolor set for my birthday, tucked into a box with a note that read, "For new adventures, Grandma." I smiled politely at the time, tucking it away on a shelf, not knowing that a simple box of colors would soon open a door to a world I thought had long since closed. For most of my life, I was a caretaker of children, of a home, of responsibilities that never seemed to end. I moved from one day to the next with a sense of duty, not daring to pause and ask myself what I truly wanted. In my 60s, after retirement, I found myself adrift. The routines that once anchored me, now gone. The silence in the house grew louder, echoing with memories and regrets. I wondered sometimes if it was too late to begin again, but one morning, sunlight streaming through the kitchen window, I reached for that watercolor set. I unfolded the paper, dipped the brush into water, and watched as the pigment bloomed across the page. The colors danced and mingled, unpredictable and free. In those moments, I felt something shift inside me, a gentle loosening, a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding for decades. Each day after that, I painted. At first, I copied the world around me, the roses blooming in the garden, the chipped blue teacup by the sink, the wrinkled hands that held the brush. My lines were shaky, my colors sometimes muddy, but I kept going. The act of painting became a meditation, a way to slow down and really see. I noticed the way morning light turned the walls golden, how shadows stretched and curled at dusk, how the sky was never just blue, but 1,000 shades of hope and longing. As I painted, I began to breathe differently, deeper, slower, with intention. I realized how much of my life had been spent holding my breath, waiting for the next crisis, the next demand. Now, with each brushstroke, I inhaled possibility and exhaled fear. I learned to forgive myself for the years spent running, for the dreams I had set aside. The canvas became a safe place to explore, to make mistakes, to start over as many times as I needed. Painting taught me to see beauty in imperfection. My hands, marked by age and arthritis, could not create the precise lines I once admired in others' work. But in their stead, I found something softer, more honest, a trembling line that spoke of resilience, a splotch of color that held a lifetime of emotion. I realized that the most beautiful art, like life itself, is not flawless, but authentic. Through art, I reconnected with old friends and made new ones. I joined a local painting group, where we gathered each week to share our work and our stories. Some had painted all their lives. Others, like me, were beginners. We encouraged each other, laughed at our mistakes, and marveled at our progress. In that circle of creative souls, I found a sense of belonging I hadn't felt in years. My grandchildren visited often, eager to see my latest creations. Their eyes sparkled with pride as they hung my paintings on the refrigerator, just as I had once displayed their childhood drawings. We painted together, their laughter filling the room, their bold strokes reminding me to be fearless. In those moments, I felt the generations between us melt away, united by the simple joy of making something new. Painting also helped me process grief. I painted through the loss of friends, the aches and changes of an aging body, the bittersweet nostalgia for days gone by. Each painting was a conversation with myself, a way to honor the past while embracing the present. I learned that it's never too late to say yes to joy, to curiosity, to the gentle unfolding of a new chapter. Now, each day feels like a story waiting to be told. I wake up with anticipation, wondering what colors I will discover, what memories will surface, what lessons the canvas will teach me. I have learned to greet each morning with gratitude, to savor the small miracles, a bird at the feeder, the warmth of a cup of tea, the laughter of loved ones nearby. To anyone listening, I want to say this: age is not a barrier, but an invitation. An invitation to rediscover yourself, to try something new, to find beauty in unexpected places. It's never too late to begin again, to pick up a brush, a pen, a camera, or simply a new way of seeing the world. Each day is a blank canvas, waiting for your unique touch. At 70, I learned how to paint. But more importantly, I learned how to breathe again, to fill my lungs with hope, to exhale doubt, to trust that every moment holds the promise of transformation. I am not the same woman I was a year ago, or even yesterday. I am a work in progress, a living masterpiece, unfinished and ever evolving. So if you find yourself wondering if it's too late, if you've missed your chance, remember this: the heart is never too old to dream. The spirit is never too weary to be renewed. All it takes is a willingness to try, to let go of perfection, to embrace the unknown with open arms. In the quiet hours of the afternoon, as I sit by the window with my paints, I feel a profound sense of peace. The world outside may be changing, but within these walls, I am free. Free to create, to explore, to simply be. And in that freedom, I have found a new kind of breath, a new kind of life, rich with possibility and wonder. This is my story, but it can be yours too. Each day is a gift, a chance to begin again. Pick up your brush. Take a deep breath. The world is waiting for your colors.
The wrinkles on my hands tell better stories than any book. Each delicate line, each gentle fold is a chapter written by time itself, a living testament to a life fully lived. As I look down at my hands, I see more than just the marks of age. I see a tapestry of memories, woven together by laughter, sorrow, love, and perseverance. These hands have held newborns and comforted friends. They have written letters, planted seeds, and wiped away tears. They have built homes, prepared meals, and offered gentle caresses in moments of tenderness. Every wrinkle is a reminder that every day, no matter how ordinary it may seem, carries within it a unique story worth honoring. In the morning, as the first rays of sunlight filter through the window, my hands reach for a warm cup of tea. The quiet ritual of brewing, pouring, and savoring each sip is a meditation, a moment to reflect on the gift of another day. I remember mornings from decades past, the rush to prepare children for school, the hurried breakfasts, the gentle scolding and laughter echoing through the kitchen. Now, the mornings are quieter, but the silence is filled with gratitude. I have learned that peace is not the absence of noise, but the presence of contentment. Throughout the day, my hands move with a slower, more deliberate grace. I tend to the garden, feeling the earth beneath my fingers, marveling at the resilience of life. Seeds buried in darkness reach upward, yearning for light. In their growth, I see a reflection of my own journey, times when hope seemed distant, but perseverance brought me through. The wrinkles on my hands are like the rings of an ancient tree, each one marking a season of growth, a period of transformation. Sometimes, as I sit by the window and watch the world outside, memories come flooding back. I recall the thrill of first love, the ache of loss, the joy of reunion. My hands have written countless letters, some sent, some never finished. Each word, each stroke of the pen carried a piece of my heart. I have learned that words can heal, but sometimes a gentle touch speaks louder than any sentence ever could. The wrinkles on my hands are not just signs of aging, they are badges of honor. They remind me of the countless times I have reached out to help someone in need, the moments I have held on when letting go seemed easier. They are proof of resilience, of overcoming challenges that once seemed insurmountable. Life has not always been easy, but it has always been worth living. As the afternoon sun casts long shadows, I find joy in the simple pleasures. A walk in the park, the laughter of grandchildren, the comfort of an old song. I have learned to cherish these moments, to find beauty in the everyday. The world may move quickly, but I have discovered the power of slowing down, of truly being present. In the quiet, I hear the whispers of wisdom that only time can give. In the company of friends, I share stories that make us laugh until we cry. We reminisce about the past, celebrate the present, and dream about the future. There is a special bond among those who have walked many miles together, who have supported each other through life's ups and downs. Our hands, though weathered, are strong. They hold the weight of shared memories, of promises kept, and lessons learned. Evenings bring their own kind of magic. As the sky fades to twilight, I light a candle and reflect on the day. Some days are filled with activity, others with quiet contemplation. I have learned that both are valuable. Each day is a gift, an opportunity to create new memories, to make a difference, no matter how small. The wrinkles on my hands are a gentle reminder that life is not measured by the number of years, but by the depth of our experiences. Growing older has taught me to appreciate the beauty of imperfection. The lines on my face, the silver in my hair, the wrinkles on my hands, they are all part of my story. They speak of endurance, of lessons learned through trial and error, of dreams pursued and sometimes deferred. I have come to understand that true beauty lies not in youth, but in the courage to live authentically, to embrace every season of life with grace. To those who fear growing old, I offer this: do not be afraid of the passage of time. Each wrinkle is a story, a memory, a lesson. They are a celebration of survival, a testament to the richness of your journey. Embrace them, honor them, and let them inspire you to live each day with purpose and passion. As I look at my hands, I am filled with gratitude. They have served me well, guided me through joy and sorrow, carried me through triumphs and trials. I am proud of every wrinkle, every scar, every mark of time. They remind me that I am still here, still learning, still growing. Life is a precious gift, and every day is an opportunity to write a new story. In the tapestry of life, it is the wrinkles, the imperfection, that give depth and character. They are the marks of a life well lived, of love given and received, of challenges faced and overcome. My hands may be wrinkled, but they are strong, capable, and full of stories. And in the end, it is these stories that matter most. The stories of kindness, resilience, and hope. So let us celebrate the beauty of growing older, the wisdom that comes with experience, and the stories etched into our very skin. For the wrinkles on our hands tell better stories than any book. Stories that inspire, uplift, and remind us of the extraordinary journey that is life. There are moments in life when we glance at the clock and wonder where the hours have gone. Days blend into months, and months quietly become years. For many, especially in the later chapters of life, this passage of time can feel like grains of sand slipping through our fingers. We may find ourselves reflecting on the dreams we once chased, the roads we chose, and the ones we left unexplored. The world seems to move faster, while our own pace gently slows. It's easy to believe we are losing time, that opportunities are fading, and that the best stories have already been told. But as the sun sets a little lower and the evenings stretch a little longer, something unexpected begins to unfold. In the midst of what feels like loss, we discover a new form of clarity, a deeper understanding of ourselves, of others, and of the beauty woven into every ordinary day. Each morning, as the first light filters through the curtains, there is a quiet invitation to begin again. No matter our age, every sunrise is a chance to find meaning in the mundane and magic in the familiar. The routine of making tea or coffee, the gentle creak of the floorboards, the comforting weight of a favorite book in hand. These are not just habits, but rituals that ground us in the present. In youth, we often rush through these moments, our minds leaping ahead to what's next. But with the gift of age comes the ability to linger, to notice, to savor. What once seemed insignificant now glimmers with significance. Consider the simple act of tending a garden. In earlier years, it might have been a chore, squeezed between work and family obligations. Now, it becomes a meditation. The soil is cool and rests beneath your fingers. The scent of earth and leaves fills the air. You notice the way sunlight dapples across petals, the slow unfurling of a new leaf, the quiet persistence of roots pushing deeper. In these moments, you are not losing time. You are gaining clarity. You see the interconnectedness of all things, the patience required for growth, and the resilience that comes from weathering storms. Friendships, too, take on new dimensions. In youth, friendships can be fast and fleeting, forged in the fires of shared adventure or ambition. As we grow older, we learn to cherish the slow-burning embers of companionship. Conversations become richer, more honest, and more forgiving. We learn to listen, not just to words, but to silences, to the stories that linger between sentences. We find joy in reminiscing, in laughing over old photographs and shared memories, in holding space for each other's joys and sorrows. The passage of time, rather than eroding these bonds, deepens them. Family gatherings, once noisy and chaotic, now feel precious. The faces around the table may change, new generations arriving, beloved elders departing, but the thread of connection remains. There is wisdom in the stories passed down, comfort in familiar recipes, and a sense of belonging that anchors us even as the world shifts. We come to understand that every goodbye is also a reminder to cherish every hello. With age, our relationship with ourselves transforms as well. In youth, we may have measured our worth by achievements, by the approval of others, or by how closely we matched the world's expectations. But as the years unfold, we begin to see ourselves with kinder eyes. We recognize the courage it took to face adversity, the grace in forgiving ourselves for mistakes, and the quiet strength that carried us through difficult times. We realize that our scars are not signs of weakness, but badges of survival. We become more comfortable in our own skin, more willing to embrace our quirks, and more accepting of our limitations. There is a profound freedom in letting go of what no longer serves us. The pursuit of perfection gives way to the pursuit of authenticity. We learn to say no to what drains us and yes to what nourishes our souls. We find fulfillment not in grand gestures, but in small acts of kindness, in moments of laughter, and in the simple pleasure of being present. Sometimes, clarity comes in unexpected ways. Perhaps it arrives in the quiet of a sleepless night, when memories drift in and out like the tide. Perhaps it emerges in the midst of grief, when we are reminded of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing those we love. Or perhaps it sneaks in during a walk beneath the changing leaves, when the beauty of the world takes our breath away. In these moments, we see with new eyes. We understand that every season has its gifts, that every ending is also a beginning, and that it is never too late to learn, to grow, or to love. There is a unique wisdom that comes with age, a wisdom that cannot be hurried or taught, but must be lived. It is the wisdom of knowing that happiness is not a destination, but a journey. That peace is found not in the absence of trouble, but in the courage to face it. That joy is not in the accumulation of things, but in the rareness of our relationships and the depth of our experiences. Every day offers a new story, a fresh perspective, and a chance to reflect on what truly matters. Perhaps today, you pause to watch the sunrise, marveling at the colors that paint the sky. Perhaps you reach out to an old friend, rekindling a connection that time had quietly dimmed. Perhaps you try something new, a recipe, a hobby, a conversation with a stranger, and discover a spark of excitement you thought was long gone. Each of these moments is a thread in the tapestry of your life, adding texture and color to the story you are still writing. It is easy to mourn the passage of time, to feel nostalgic for the energy and possibility of youth. But there is a quiet power in embracing the present, in recognizing that every age has its own beauty. The laughter lines etched into your face are maps of joy. The silver in your hair is a testament to lessons learned and love given. The slower pace is not a loss, but an invitation to notice, to appreciate, and to be grateful. As we honor the journey of aging, we also honor the wisdom that comes with it. We learn to forgive more easily, to judge less harshly, and to love more deeply. We become mentors, storytellers, and keepers of family traditions. We find meaning in giving back in sharing our experience and in guiding those who come after us. Our value is not diminished by the passing years, it is enriched. There is a misconception that life narrows as we age, that possibilities shrink and horizons close in. But in truth, the opposite can be true. With clarity comes the courage to pursue passions we once set aside, to travel roads we once thought were closed, and to embrace opportunities for growth and connection. We are free to redefine success on our own terms, to seek out adventure and to savor the simple joys that make each day unique. Each challenge we face, each loss we endure, and each joy we celebrate adds to the mosaic of our lives. We come to understand that it is not the number of years that matters, but the richness with which we live them. We learn to let go of regrets, to make peace with our past, and to look forward with hope. In the quiet moments, we may find ourselves reflecting on the meaning of legacy. What do we leave behind? What stories will be told about us? It is not the possessions we accumulate, but the love we share, the kindness we extend, and the lives we touch that endure. Our legacy is written in the laughter of grandchildren, in the wisdom we pass on, and in the memories cherished by those who knew us. There is beauty in becoming an elder, in being a witness to the unfolding of life. We have seen the world change, and we have changed with it. We have weathered storms and celebrated triumphs. We have learned that life is both fragile and resilient, both fleeting and eternal. Each day is a gift, a chance to begin anew, to forgive, to hope, and to love. So if you find yourself wondering where the time has gone, remember this: you are not losing time. You are gaining clarity. You are seeing the world with eyes that have witnessed both sorrow and joy, with a heart that has known both loss and love. You are discovering what truly matters, and you are living each day with intention and grace. Let every sunrise be a reminder that you are still part of the story, that your presence is a gift, and that your wisdom is needed. Let every sunset be a moment of gratitude for the experiences you have lived, for the lessons you have learned, and for the clarity you have gained. As you move through each day, find joy in the simple things. The warmth of sunlight on your face, the sound of birdsong in the morning, the laughter of loved ones, the comfort of a familiar melody, the taste of a favorite meal. These are the moments that make life rich and meaningful. Reach out to those around you. Share your stories, your laughter, and your wisdom. Listen with an open heart and be present for those who need you. Your experiences are a treasure, and your perspective is invaluable. Embrace the changes that come with age. Welcome the silver in your hair, the lines on your face, and the slower pace of your days. These are not signs of decline, but of a life well lived. Wear them with pride and let them remind you of all you have overcome and all you have achieved. Continue to learn and to grow. Take up a new hobby, explore a new place, or simply try something you have never done before. Curiosity is the key to staying young at heart. There is always something new to discover, no matter your age. Be gentle with yourself. Forgive your mistakes, honor your journey, and celebrate your achievements. You are exactly where you are meant to be, and you are enough, just as you are. Find ways to give back, to make a difference, and to leave the world a little brighter than you found it. Whether through volunteering, mentoring, or simply offering a kind word, your contribution matters. Above all, cherish the people you love. Hold them close. Tell them how much they mean to you, and make time for the relationships that bring you joy. In the end, it is the love we give and receive that defines our lives. As the days continue to unfold, let go of the fear of losing time. Instead, embrace the clarity that comes with age, the clarity to see what is truly important, to live with purpose, and to find beauty in every moment. You are not losing time. You are gaining wisdom, perspective, and a deeper appreciation for the gift of life. Each day is an opportunity to celebrate, to reflect, and to inspire others with your courage and your grace. So, stand tall in the light of your experience. Honor your journey and know that your story is far from over. You are still becoming, still growing, still shining. The world needs your light, your laughter, and your love. Let this be a season of celebration, a time to honor all that you have been, all that you are, and all that you are yet to become. Let every day be a new chapter, filled with hope, with gratitude, and with the clarity that comes from a life well lived. In the end, it is not the years in your life that count, but the life in your years. So live boldly, love deeply, and savor every moment. You are not losing time. You are gaining clarity, and with it, the freedom to live each day to the fullest.
He still holds my hand, even when I forget where we're going. It's a simple gesture, yet it speaks volumes. A quiet testament to years spent together, to journeys shared, and to the enduring bond that weaves two lives into one. As the days unfold, each one brings its own story, a gentle reminder that life in our later years is not just about remembering, but about being present, about cherishing the small moments that make up the fabric of our days. Morning light spills through the window, painting the room with a soft glow. I wake to the familiar rhythm of his breathing beside me, the warmth of his hand finding mine beneath the covers. The world outside may change, memories may slip through my fingers like grains of sand, but his touch is constant, a gentle anchor in the shifting tides of time. We rise together, moving through the rituals of morning, the quiet dance of coffee brewing, toast browning, and sunlight catching on the silver strands in his hair. Each day begins anew, a blank page waiting to be filled. There are days when the path ahead seems uncertain, when names and places blur at the edges, and the past feels closer than the present. On those days, I find myself reaching for him, for the steady reassurance of his presence. He never falters. His hand is always there, guiding me, steadying me, reminding me that I am never alone. In the silence, in the laughter, in the ordinary moments of our daily life, he holds my hand, not out of obligation but out of love. We take our walks in the park, the world alive with the colours of each passing season. Children's laughter drifts on the breeze, and the scent of fresh grass fills the air. Sometimes I pause, uncertain of which path to take, but he is patient. He waits, his hand entwined with mine, until I am ready to move forward. We walk side by side, our steps in sync, as if we have always known this rhythm. The world may rush by, but we move at our own pace, savouring each moment as it comes. In the afternoons, we sit together on the porch, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The sky blushes with hues of gold and rose, and the day slowly unwinds. We reminisce about the past, about the house we built, the children we raised, the dreams we chased, and the ones we let go. Sometimes the details escape me, but he fills the gaps with gentle words, weaving our shared history into a tapestry that feels both familiar and new. His stories are gifts, reminders of a life well lived, of laughter and tears, of triumphs and trials weathered together. There are moments of frustration too. Moments when I wish I could remember every detail, every face, every place. But he never lets those moments linger. He squeezes my hand, offering comfort without words, reminding me that love is not measured by memory, but by presence. In his eyes, I see understanding, patience, and a deep, abiding affection that transcends the boundaries of time and recollection. Evenings bring their own quiet magic. We share a meal, simple and nourishing, prepared with care and seasoned with laughter. The table is set for two, but it holds a lifetime of memories. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays spent with family and friends. Each meal is a celebration, a chance to give thanks for the day we've shared, for the love that endures. After dinner, we settle into our favorite chairs, the silence between us comfortable and full. Sometimes we read, sometimes we simply sit, hands clasped, hearts at peace. As night falls, I am reminded that growing older is not a loss, but a transformation. It is a journey marked by change, by letting go of what once was and embracing what is. It is learning to find joy in the present, to celebrate the ordinary, to cherish the people who walk beside us. It is discovering that love deepens with time, becoming richer, more resilient, more profound. He still holds my hand, even when I forget where we're going. In that simple act, there is a world of meaning, a promise to walk beside me, no matter where the path leads. It is a reminder that we are all travelers, moving through the seasons of life, sometimes uncertain, sometimes afraid, but always together. The destination matters less than the journey, and the journey is made beautiful by the ones we love. Each day is a story, a chance to see the world with fresh eyes. There is beauty in the ordinary, the morning sun, the scent of blooming flowers, the sound of laughter echoing through the house. There is wisdom in the quiet moments, in the gentle touch, in the shared silence. Life in our later years is not about counting the days, but about making the days count. I have learned to let go of regrets, to release the weight of what I cannot change. The past is a place of memories, the future a land of possibility, but the present, the here and now, is where life happens. It is where love is given and received, where kindness blooms, where gratitude takes root. It is where I find joy in the simple act of holding his hand, of walking together into the unknown. For those who watch us, perhaps they see two people growing old together, moving a little slower, speaking a little softer. But what they cannot see is the depth of our connection, the strength of the bond that has carried us through the years. They cannot see the laughter shared in the quiet hours, the comfort found in a familiar embrace, the unspoken understanding that comes from a lifetime spent side by side. Aging is not without its challenges. There are days when the body aches, when the mind feels clouded, when the world seems too fast, too loud, too overwhelming. But there is also resilience, a quiet strength that comes from weathering life's storms. There is a grace in accepting help, in leaning on those we love, in allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. There is dignity in growing older, in embracing each wrinkle, each grey hair as a badge of honour, a testament to a life fully lived. He still holds my hand, even when I forget where we're going. In that touch, there is hope. Hope that love endures, that kindness prevails, that every day is a new beginning. Hope that we can face whatever comes, together. Hope that the journey is enough, even if the destination is uncertain. To those who are walking this path, know that you are not alone. Each day brings its own challenges and its own joys. There is beauty to be found in the ordinary, in the moments that pass quietly, almost unnoticed. Cherish the people who walk beside you, who hold your hand when you falter, who remind you that you are loved, just as you are. Let us celebrate the wisdom that comes with age, the hard-earned lessons, the quiet confidence, the deep compassion. Let us honor the stories that have shaped us, the memories that linger, the dreams that continue to inspire. Let us find gratitude in the present, in the simple pleasures, in the moments of connection that sustain us. Life is a journey, and every step matters. Whether we remember every detail or lose our way from time to time, what matters most is the love that guides us, the hands that hold us, the hearts that beat in unison. We are more than our memories, more than our accomplishments, more than the sum of our years. We are the stories we share, the kindness we offer, the love we give and receive. He still holds my hand, even when I forget where we're going. And in that, there is a lesson for us all: to cherish the present, to walk with compassion, to hold on to hope, to know that, in the end, it is not the destination that defines us, but the journey and the love that lights our way. As the days turn into years, as the seasons change, as the world spins on, I am grateful for each moment, for the laughter, the tears, the quiet evenings, the gentle mornings. I am grateful for the hand that holds mine, for the love that endures, for the journey that continues. And I am reminded every day that even when I forget where we're going, I am exactly where I need to be, hand in hand, heart to heart, walking together into the unknown with love as our guide. So let us celebrate this stage of life, not as an ending, but as a beginning, a chance to see the world with new eyes, to find meaning in the ordinary, to give and receive love in its purest form. Let us honor those who walk beside us, who hold our hands when we falter, who remind us that we are never alone. And let us move forward together with courage, with grace, with hope. For in the end, it is not about remembering every detail, but about living each moment fully, loving deeply, and holding on to the hands that guide us home.